Hi, this is the second part of an introduction to Euclid. Fair use, educational purposes, although we know that only applies to the person. I'm not a person, I'm a man. The Elements. The Elements is Euclid's most famous work. The book is logically set out into 13 books so that it can be used easily as a reference. Book 1. Euclid lists 23 definitions, 5 postulates or rules, and 5 common notions, assumptions, and uses them as building blocks. From these, all other proofs and theorems would be derived. For example, the first postulate states that it is possible to draw a straight line between any 2 points. Book 1 proves elementary theorems about plane geometry. Book 2 deals with geometric algebra. Book 3 investigates properties of circles, and this book is believed to be the work of Pythagoras and his followers. Book 4 concerns the construction of regular polygons, in particular the pentagon. Book 5 establishes the arithmetic theory of proportion and ratio and is the work of Eudoxus. I think I'm saying that right, Eudoxus. Book 6 applies the theory of ratios in Book 5 to plane geometry. Book 7 deals with elementary number theory, including prime numbers, and contains the Euclidean algorithm for finding the greatest common divisor of 2 numbers. Book 8 looks at geometric series. Book 9 concerns the application of results from Book 7 and Book 8. Book 10 deals with the theory of irrational numbers and is mainly the work of Theaetetus and contains his method of exhaustion. Book 11 examines three-dimensional geometry, giving basic definitions. Book 12 continues with three-dimensional geometry, calculating the relative volumes of cones, pyramids, cylinders, and spheres using the method of exhaustion as invented by Eudoxus. Book 13 investigates the 5 Platonic solids: pyramid, cube, octahedron, dodecahedron, icosahedron in a given sphere based on the work by Theaetetus. Euclid's Optics. Euclid's Optics was an immensely influential book on light and vision. Euclid explained light's behavior using geometrical principles he had developed in the Elements. His theory of light was the basis of artistic perspective, astronomical methods, and navigation methods for more than 2,000 years. Euclid considered the geometrical behavior of light rays. He got one major point wrong. Apparently, I don't know because I've not looked into how light works with the eye and everything. But they're saying that he got one major point wrong. He adopted the Greek consensus view of the time that we see things because our eyes emit rays rather than receive rays. People say these days that our eyes receive the rays. The rays don't come from our eyes, but it comes into our eyes. Yeah. Nevertheless, Euclid's theory of light works perfectly well because, as can be seen in the image below, it is the geometry that is important, not whether a ray is travelling into or out of an eye. So it doesn't matter which way it's going. It could be coming in. Light rays could be coming into your eye, or they could be coming out of your eye. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Like it says there, it says Euclid considered the geometrical behavior of light rays. He got one major point wrong. He adopted the Greek consensus view of the time that we see things because our eyes emit rays rather than receive rays. Nevertheless, Euclid's theory of light works perfectly well because, as can be seen in the image below, it is the geometry that is important, not whether the ray is travelling into or out of an eye. Yeah. So someone commented on not the last video, the one before that, I think it was, a few videos ago about Euclid. It says, well, we do know these days that light doesn't come from the eye, it comes into the eye. Well, that doesn't matter. That's a moot point. Because since then I've found that basically it doesn't matter which way the light travels, either into your eye or out of your eye. It doesn't really matter. It's because it's the geometry that's important. Yeah. And we've got a little diagram here. I'll go into all this stuff later in a later video. I've got a good video to do for this. But this is one of Euclid's geometrical diagrams from optics. Using arguments based on this diagram, Euclid establishes that when viewed from different locations, objects of equal height on a flat plane can appear to be of different height. Yeah? That's just the maths that behind it and everything. Yeah, the diagram. So basically saying he established that when viewed from different locations, objects of equal height on a flat plane can appear to be of different height. 4 other works of Euclid have survived: the Data, a work of geometrical problems, on divisions of figures, which concerns the division of geometrical figures into 2 or more equal parts or into various ratios, Catoptrics, which examines the mathematical theory of mirrors, especially images formed by plane and spherical concave mirrors. Phenomena, a treatise on spherical astronomy. A Latin translation of the Elements was made around 1120 AD by English monk Adelard of Bath, who had acquired a copy of an Arabic version in Spain, and the first complete English translation of the Elements was made in 1570 by merchant Sir Henry Billingsley. The increasing development of sciences and mathematics in the 18th and 19th centuries earned Euclid a crucial place in the curriculum of schools and universities throughout the Western world. And then it goes on to Gauss and non-Euclidean geometry, but we're going to go into that some other time in another series of videos on non-Euclidean geometry after we've done this Euclidean stuff first and everything else. That's it for this one. Like I said, the next ones in the next few days will be about actual mathematics and everything behind in the Euclid's optics. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.